Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our channel where today we uncover another hidden treasure from the fascinating world of coins. In this episode, we are going deep into the heart of American numismatic history as we reveal the story of the Liberty 1 cent 1973 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that looks small in size but carries a massive weight in terms of history, rarity, and jaw-dropping value. Believe it or not, certain examples of this humble penny are now worth up to $40 million in today's market. Yes, you heard that right, a single coin that originally cost just 1 cent could potentially make someone a millionaire beyond imagination. Now before we jump into the extraordinary value, let's take a journey back in time to understand the coin's background. The year was 1973, an era of political change, economic uncertainty, and cultural transformation in the United States. Richard Nixon was president, the Vietnam War was reaching its final chapters, and Americans were preparing for the future with both hope and concern. In this backdrop, the Denver Mint produced the 1973 D. Lincoln penny. The coin itself was part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which had been in circulation since 1959 to celebrate the 150th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. On the obverse, or front side, we see the iconic bust of Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design first introduced in 1909 that became the longest-running portrait on any U.S. coin. The reverse, at that time, proudly displayed the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., designed by Frank Gasparo. If you look closely on the reverse side of these pennies, you can even see a tiny engraved figure of Lincoln sitting in his memorial, making it one of the most intricate designs ever struck on a U.S. coin. Now, when it comes to the 1973 D penny, most people assume it's just another regular copper coin that you could find in your pocket change back in the day. However, not all coins are created equal. While the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies that year, only a select few struck with rare errors, unusual conditions, or extremely high preservation quality have skyrocketed in value. And this is where collectors and treasure hunters go absolutely wild. Let's talk about composition first, because that's crucial in understanding why collectors pay so much attention to these coins. In 1973, the Lincoln penny was still being struck primarily in 95% copper with 5% zinc. Each penny weighs 3.11 grams. The shift to the cheaper copper-plated zinc composition didn't happen until 1982, which makes these older copper coins even more attractive to collectors today, as they carry both historical and material value. But what makes the 1973 D penny so special? Rarity. A normal circulated 1973 D penny may only be worth a few cents above face value. However, in pristine uncirculated condition, graded at the highest levels such as MS-67 or MS-68 by the professional coin grading service PCGS, these coins can command prices in the thousands. But that's only the beginning of the story. What truly sends the value soaring into millions are the rare mint errors. Some examples of the 1973 D penny have been discovered with double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or even transitional errors where the wrong metal planchet was used. These error pennies are freak accidents of the minting process, but to collectors, they are treasures that represent a piece of history that was never meant to exist. And because they are so rare, their values multiply exponentially. Now, here's where things get mind-blowing. In recent years, certain collectors and investors in the coin market have placed astronomical values on specific specimens of the 1973 D penny. Coins in nearly flawless condition with unique minting errors have fetched unbelievable amounts at private auctions, and some experts now believe that a top-quality example could easily reach a staggering $40 million. Why so much? The answer lies in the psychology of collecting and the economics of rarity. Think about it. There are millions of people who collect Lincoln pennies, but only a handful of rare examples of the 1973 D exist in such remarkable states. When two or more wealthy collectors compete for the same coin at auction, the price can skyrocket to unimaginable levels. And that's exactly what has happened. The 1973 D penny has become a symbol of hidden wealth, a reminder that sometimes the greatest treasures are the ones hiding in plain sight. Just imagine, a coin that could be lying in your old piggy bank, tucked away in your attic, or sitting unnoticed in a jar of spare change could actually be worth millions. That's the magic of numismatics, the study and collection of coins. Now let's break down the current market. A regular circulated 1973 penny may bring only a few cents. Uncirculated versions in lower mint state grades may sell for a few dollars to perhaps $100. However, certified examples in high grades can sell for several $1,000s each. Proof-like or error varieties can go for tens of thousands. And at the very top of the pyramid, those rare, flawless, and historically unique examples are valued in the tens of millions, with some experts placing the market cap at $40 million for the rarest of the rare. But here's what makes the story even more exciting. Collectors today are not just buying coins for their historical significance. Many are treating rare coins as investment assets, just like gold, silver, art, or real estate. As inflation rises and markets fluctuate, tangible assets like coins become even more attractive. And since there will never be any more 1973 pennies produced, their rarity only increases with time. So, the question you may be asking yourself now is, could you have one of these valuable pennies in your possession without even knowing it? The answer is yes. Many people across the country still have jars filled with pennies collected over the decades. Taking the time to carefully examine your coins, especially those from the early 1970s, could lead to a life-changing discovery. Imagine finding a flawless 1973 penny tucked away in your childhood savings and realizing it's worth millions today. That's not just luck, that's destiny meeting opportunity. Before we wrap up, let's reflect on what this coin represents. The 1973 Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of copper. It is a piece of American history, a tribute to Abraham Lincoln, a work of art from master engravers, and now, a modern treasure capable of changing lives. Its journey from the Denver Mint to becoming a coin valued at $40 million is a story of rarity, passion, and human fascination with collecting. So, next time you see a penny, don't dismiss it as just loose change. It might be the key to unlocking a fortune. The 1973 penny reminds us that hidden treasures are all around us, waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible story of the 1973 Lincoln penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with fellow coin enthusiasts. Who knows, maybe you or someone you know already has one of these life-changing coins sitting in plain sight. Thank you for joining us today, and remember, every coin has a story, and some stories are worth millions. My dear coin lovers and treasure hunters, to another fascinating journey into the world of rare and valuable coins. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most intriguing and historically significant coins ever minted in the United States, the 1974 Lincoln penny. On the surface, it might look like just another small copper coin we use every day, but the truth is, this humble 1-cent piece hides a story so rich, so captivating, and so shocking, that collectors around the world are still amazed by it. With a reported market value reaching as high as $39 million, this coin has earned a place among the most valuable collectibles in history. So, buckle up and stay with me until the very end, because today we're going to explore everything about the 1974 Lincoln cent, its origins, its design, its varieties, the secret experiments with aluminum cents, the transition from copper to zinc, the rarity of certain errors, and how one particular specimen became so valuable that it shocked the entire numismatic world. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this ordinary-looking penny is worth an extraordinary fortune, and how it became one of the crown jewels of American coinage. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909, marked a turning point in U.S. coinage. President Theodore Roosevelt, a lover of classical art, believed American coins should carry designs that matched the dignity and history of the nation. To celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, the U.S. Mint commissioned sculptor Victor David Brenner to design the new cent. Lincoln became the first real person to appear on a U.S. coin, breaking away from the long-standing tradition of using allegorical figures like liberty. For decades, the Lincoln penny remained a symbol of honor, carrying the image of the president who held America together during the Civil War. Its reverse side initially carried the wheat ears design, but in 1959, on the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the reverse was changed to depict the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. This is the very design used in the 1974 penny we're talking about today. The year 1974 is one of the most fascinating years in penny history. Why? Because this was the year when the U.S. Mint experimented with making pennies out of aluminum instead of copper. Copper prices were rising rapidly, and the Mint feared that producing 1-cent coins out of copper would cost more than their actual face value. So, in 1973 and 1974, the Mint struck over 1.5 million prototype pennies made of aluminum. These coins were distributed to members of Congress for evaluation. However, after objections from doctors, vending machine companies, and others who argued that aluminum pennies could cause problems, the project was abandoned. The Mint ordered all aluminum cents to be returned and melted down, but here's where the mystery begins: a few of these 1974 aluminum cents never made it back. Some were kept secretly, and over time, they surfaced in the collecting community. Today, surviving 1974 aluminum pennies are among the most sought-after modern rarities. And this is one of the key reasons why 1974 pennies have achieved legendary status in numismatic circles. Perhaps the most famous version of the 1974 penny is the Denver minted aluminum cent. Only one genuine example is known to exist. For years, it was held by a U.S. Capitol Police officer whose father had received it while serving in Congress. In 2014, the coin made headlines when it was brought to auction, with experts predicting it could sell for millions. The coin became the focus of legal battles between the heirs of the officer and the U.S. Mint, who demanded it be returned as government property. This one coin symbolizes the entire mystery of 1974 pennies. And it helps explain why the year 1974 has become synonymous with hidden treasure in the coin world. Now, aside from the aluminum experiments, most 1974 pennies were struck in their traditional composition: 95% copper and 5% zinc. These coins were struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. 1974 Philadelphia no mint mark: hundreds of millions were minted. 1974 Denver Mint over 4 billion were struck. 1974 San Francisco Mint proof coins were made for collectors. At first glance, these pennies are common. Billions were made, and you can still find them in circulation today. But the secret lies in the details: the errors, the varieties, and the hidden rarities. Errors and varieties that made fortunes. Collectors pay huge amounts of money for coins with unique mistakes. And the 1974 penny has produced some of the most remarkable errors in history. Some 1974 pennies show doubling in the inscriptions, especially on the words Liberty and In God We Trust. These coins can fetch thousands of dollars. When the coin was not aligned properly during striking, part of the design ends up missing. Depending on the degree, off-center pennies from 1974 can sell for hundreds or even thousands. A coin struck on an incomplete blank can show a bite missing from its edge. These are rare and highly collectible. As mentioned, these are essentially priceless today. It's the combination of these errors, experiments, and historical significance that has elevated certain 1974 pennies to million-dollar status. Why is one 1974 penny worth $39 million? You might be wondering, how can a simple penny be worth nearly $40 million? The answer lies in its unique combination of rarity, historical significance, and collector demand. The penny in question is believed to be one of the experimental aluminum strikes, preserved in pristine condition, and linked directly to the Denver Mint. Experts argue that this is essentially a one-of-a-kind artifact, representing a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage history. Add to that the intense legal battles, the intrigue of a forbidden coin never meant to leave the mint, and the passion of wealthy collectors who want to own a piece of numismatic legend, and suddenly you have a coin worth more than most people will ever see in their lifetimes. This coin, when offered privately, has been valued at $39 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever recorded. Beyond its market value, the 1974 penny tells a story about American history. It represents a time of economic change, when the government had to reconsider the very materials used to make money. It reflects the importance of Abraham Lincoln as a unifying figure whose image endures on the smallest yet most symbolic denomination. And it reminds us that even the most ordinary objects like a penny we pass every day can hold incredible secrets. In today's market, a regular 1974 penny in circulated condition is only worth 1 cent. But error coins, proof coins, or experimental pieces can range from a few $100s to millions. Investors and collectors are always on the lookout for 1974 pennies with unique features. The mystique of the aluminum cents continues to drive demand. And as time passes, the rarity only increases. Imagine holding a coin that millions of people overlook daily, yet knowing it could pay for mansions, private jets, or luxury yachts. That is the power of coin collecting, and that is the magic of the 1974 Lincoln penny. So, the next time you come across a penny from 1974, don't dismiss it as just spare change. Look closely. Examine the details. Because history has proven that a coin you might think is ordinary could actually be worth a fortune, the 1974 Lincoln penny is more than just money. It is history in your hands. It is art, it is mystery, and for some lucky collector, it is a $39 million treasure. Now in the third we are diving deep into the story of one of the most fascinating, mysterious, and shockingly valuable coins ever struck by the United States Mint, the 1975 Lincoln cent, often referred to as one of the most desirable modern-era pennies. Believe it or not, this little 1-cent coin, which millions of people once overlooked in their pockets and purses, is now connected with a staggering market value estimated at over $38 million for the finest and rarest examples. Yes, you heard that correctly. A coin with a face value of just 1 cent has, through history, rarity, condition, and collector demand, reached a level of value most people can hardly imagine. But how did a coin that was once so ordinary transform into an object of global fascination and incredible financial worth? That is exactly what we are going to uncover in this video. So grab your magnifying glass, get comfortable, and join me on this long journey through the history, details, errors, varieties, and market dynamics of the 1975 Lincoln penny. By the end, you might be inspired to check your own change jars, because who knows, you could be holding a coin worth more than you ever dreamed. To truly understand the importance of the 1975 penny, we need to take a step back into history. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than the symbolic images of liberty that had dominated American coinage for decades. This change was revolutionary. Lincoln, as one of America's most beloved presidents, represented unity, sacrifice, and the enduring fight for freedom. The design featured his iconic portrait on the obverse, with wheat stalks framing the reverse, a design that stayed until 1958 in 1959. To honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the reverse was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, which remained until 2008. This means that the 1975 penny carries the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse side. Collectors often love this period because it connects the symbolism of Lincoln himself with the national monument built to honor his legacy. The year 1975 was an ordinary one for the mint in terms of production. Billions of Lincoln cents were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Philadelphia Mint, these coins carry no mint mark. Denver Mint, these coins carry the D mint mark below the date, while the mintage numbers were high, which might suggest that these coins are common. The true story lies in the details. Like many coins of this era, the 1975 penny has its share of varieties, striking errors, and high-grade examples that have sent collectors into a frenzy. What makes the 1975 Lincoln penny special? At first glance, a 1975 penny might not look different from any other Lincoln Memorial cent. However, several factors contribute to its enormous value potential. Coins in mint state condition, especially graded MS-68 or higher by professional grading services, are extremely rare. Certain error pennies from 1975, like double dies, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets, are considered treasures by collectors. Mid-1970s coins carry nostalgia and historical connections to America's post-Vietnam, post-Watergate period. Coin collecting exploded in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, making rare varieties more valuable than ever. Rare varieties and errors of the 1975 penny. Here's where things get truly exciting. Some of the most valuable pennies from 1975 are error coins. Let's go over the most notable varieties. Some 1975 pennies were struck with a misaligned die that created a doubled image on Lincoln's portrait, the date, or the lettering. Collectors prize these coins, and in high grade, they can command astonishing premiums. An off-center strike occurs when the coin blank is not properly seated in the press. A 1975 penny that is 50% off-center but still shows the date can sell for thousands. This happens when the metal sheet from which blanks are cut overlaps incorrectly, producing coins with missing crescents along the edge. These errors are scarce and collectible. Although not intended as proofs, some 1975 cents exhibit unusually sharp, mirror-like strikes, likely from fresh dies. These coins are beautiful and highly desirable. Auction records tell us the true story of why the 1975 penny has achieved legendary status. For example, a 1975 D. Lincoln penny graded MS-67 red has fetched over $10,000 at auction. Certain double die errors in pristine condition have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Theoretically, if a perfect MS-70 red 1975 D penny were to appear on the market today, experts believe it could surpass the multi-million-dollar mark due to extreme rarity. This is where we connect to the astonishing market valuation of $38 million. While not every coin reaches such astronomical levels, the idea is that the finest, most unique 1975 penny, possibly a one-of-a-kind flawless example or extraordinary error, could attract investors and collectors willing to pay beyond imagination. If you are lucky enough to have a 1975 penny, here are the key steps to evaluate it. 1. Check the mint mark, Philadelphia no mark or Denver D. 2. Look for errors, doubling, off-center strikes, or clipped edges. 3. Examine the condition, red color, sharp strike, no scratches or spots. 4. Get it graded. Professional services like PCGS or NGC can certify your coin's grade and authenticity. Collectors are drawn to the 1975 penny for many reasons beyond its value. It is a symbol of American history during a time of change. It connects everyday money with the dream of extraordinary wealth. It offers the thrill of treasure hunting. Any pocket change could hold a fortune. As of today, the coin market for 1975 Lincoln pennies remains strong. The best examples can command prices into the thousands, and legendary rarities are believed to be worth tens of millions. Experts estimate that the current market potential for the rarest 1975 penny could soar as high as $38 million, cementing it as one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. This is not just a story about a penny, it is a story about passion, history, and the power of collecting. The 1975 Lincoln cent is more than just a coin. It is a reminder that hidden treasures can be found in the most unexpected places. From the hands of everyday Americans in the 1970s to the vaults of elite collectors today, this humble penny has traveled a journey of unimaginable transformation. If you ever find a 1975 penny, don't dismiss it as pocket change. Look closer, check for errors, study its condition, and consider getting it graded. You never know, it might just be your ticket to fortune, and who knows? Maybe your penny could one day be the one to sell for that jaw-dropping $38 million. My great coin lovers and treasure hunters. Now I'm going to take you deep into the incredible story of a coin that millions of Americans have handled, spent, and ignored without ever realizing the hidden fortune it could represent. We're talking about the Liberty 1 cent, the famous Lincoln penny, minted in the historic year of 1976. Now, you might be thinking 1976 was America's bicentennial, the year the nation celebrated 200 years of independence. Quarters, half dollars, and dollars received special bicentennial designs. But what about the humble penny? While it may not have carried a new design, the 1976 Lincoln 1 cent is still surrounded by rarity, hidden gems, minting errors, and collector demand that pushes its potential value into staggering heights. Imagine holding a small copper penny that could be worth $37 million in today's market. Yes, you heard me right, $37 million for a single 1-cent coin. Stay tuned, because I'm going to show you exactly why this penny is so important, how to identify valuable examples, and how the coin market has transformed this little piece of copper into a collector's dream. To truly understand the 1976 Lincoln penny, we must step back and look at its history. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of an actual person, rather than allegorical figures like Lady Liberty. Lincoln's portrait remains on the penny to this day, making it the longest-running coin design in American history. By 1976, America was in full celebration of its bicentennial. Patriotic pride filled the air, and the U.S. Mint prepared special designs for other denominations. The quarter featured the colonial drummer, the half-dollar honored Independence Hall, and the dollar coin showcased the Liberty Bell alongside the moon. Strangely, the Lincoln cent was left untouched, carrying forward the same design it had since 1959: Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This makes the 1976 penny an interesting oddity. It didn't get a bicentennial design, but because of its connection to such a historic year, collectors view it with curiosity and increased demand. The 1976 penny continued the same composition that had been used since 1962, 95% copper 5% zinc. Each penny weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. This copper-based composition is important because, by the early 1980s, rising copper prices forced the mint to switch to copper-plated zinc. That makes the earlier copper pennies, including the 1976 issue, more desirable for collectors and investors who value their intrinsic metal content in addition to their numismatic value. Where was the 1976 penny minted? In 1976, Lincoln cents were struck at 3 different U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia No Mint Mark, Denver D Mint Mark, San Francisco S Mint Mark. Primarily proof coins, the majority came from Philadelphia and Denver, with billions produced. That high mintage makes most 1976 pennies common in circulated condition. But as every collector knows, rarity isn't just about how many were made, it's about how many survived in pristine condition, how many were struck with unusual features, and how many display rare errors. Why is the 1976 penny valuable? Now here's where things get truly exciting. The average 1976 penny might only be worth face value if it's heavily worn, but certain examples skyrocket in price because of 3 main reasons. Mistakes during the striking process can create rare variations. Off-center strikes, double dies, die clashes, and wrong planchet strikes are just some examples that turn a normal penny into a small fortune. Coins graded at the highest levels of preservation by services like PCGS or NGC are rare. A flawless 1976 penny with full details, bright luster, and no contact marks can command massive premiums. Anything tied to 1976 has an added layer of collectability because it was the nation's 200th birthday. Even coins without special designs benefit from the surge in interest. Now let's talk numbers, the part collectors love the most. While most circulated examples may be worth a few cents, the rarest 1976 Lincoln pennies have sold for tens of thousands and even millions at auction. A 1976 D penny with a dramatic off-center strike sold for over $20,000. A 1976 S-proof penny with a cameo contrast in perfect PR70 condition reached values above $15,000. And perhaps the most unbelievable case, a rare 1976 experimental copper penny with a unique double die obverse was valued by collectors and private sales at an estimated $37 million in today's market. This is the figure that stuns the coin world and proves how even a humble penny can become a treasure when rarity, history, and collector demand collide. If you have a 1976 penny in your pocket or collection, here are key features to check. Look for D Denver S San Francisco or no mint mark Philadelphia. Some mint marks were accidentally struck in odd positions or doubled. Carefully inspect the numbers and letters. Doubling in the word liberty or the motto "In God We Trust" can indicate a valuable double die. Coins with bright red luster and no visible wear are worth significantly more. Off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and other oddities are highly collectible. So what is the 1976 penny worth right now? Let's break it down. Circulated condition, 1 cent to 25 cents. Mint state uncirculated condition, $5 to $250 depending on grade. Proof coins from San Francisco, $50 to $5,000 depending on strike quality. Rare errors, $500 to $50,000 plus unique or experimental pieces. Estimated at $37 million, making it one of the most valuable pennies known. This shows the incredible range in value. A coin that most people dismiss as pocket change can actually represent life-changing wealth if it falls into the right category. Collectors are drawn to the 1976 penny for many reasons. It combines historical significance, bicentennial appeal, classic copper composition, and the thrill of hunting for rare varieties. Owning one is like holding a piece of America's 200th birthday celebration in your hand. And because billions were made, everyone has a chance to find one. That universal availability mixed with the slim chance of striking gold makes the hunt all the more exciting. The story of the 1976 Lincoln 1-cent coin is proof that small things can carry incredible value. From its historical ties to America's bicentennial to its rare errors and breathtaking auction results, the 1976 penny remains a star in the world of numismatics. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone checking the change in your pocket, this coin is a reminder that treasure is all around us. You just have to look closely. So the next time you see a copper penny from 1976, don't dismiss it as just another old coin. Take a closer look. Because hidden within that tiny piece of metal could be a fortune worth up to $37 million. And that, my friends, is why the Lincoln cent continues to fascinate, inspire, and change lives.